kuna video, there is a video here imenibamba sana. There is a video apparently, this is the perfect example of ground imekataa Ruto. Utukufu rais. Ata ground imemkataa. Mambo ya ground ni ngumu. So anyway, I've seen that the diaspora are protesting and you're doing your economic boycotts against KRA, new travel tax and high immigration fees. You see, Kenyans in diaspora, if you only knew how much power you possess, you wouldn't be doing some of the dumb stuff I see you doing online. The people you follow, the news you consume. Like now the Kenyans in America, you'd think that you're in the land of the free, home of the brave, but you guys were more updated on Karen Nyamu's and Samido's shenanigans than even Kenyans in Kenya. So what was the purpose of your families fundraising, sacrificing to send you there? If you're not going to go there and learn anything, you're not going to pick up something and find a way of transferring that knowledge to your home country, that you've been the biggest letdown. Previously, we used to have Kenyans in diaspora even going to protest outside the Kenyan embassy in Washington, or just doing any form of protest. But you're not doing anything. You're just there consuming the garbage, the same garbage that the anti-intellectualists of Kenya are creating for you. You see this content, I told you, it is coordinated from somewhere. That's why there used to be, or there still is, a digital department as regards to diaspora, because they needed to dumb you down. Now all they do is they extract your money. They extract your money, they extract your productivity, and then now every day they are finding ways of making sure that whatever you're earning there comes back home. You see, they are creating all these laws, mostly is to gaslight you people. But why do you take the bait? Kenyans in diaspora, you're not even participating in the civic process. You're not even your own family members. You're not discussing with them about the idea of voting wisely. You are not. You're just, carte blanche. And you guys, I told you, you give your families back in Kenya more money. And then, but these guys are still enticed with 1,000 Kenya shillings to vote for people who will undo all the economic gains that the country has been having, so that they can be dependent on handouts from you in the diaspora. You see, so diaspora people, why aren't you talking? Why aren't you engaging? I've not seen you in any forums. We used to have serious boards like Mwakilishi many years ago, where Kenyans are discussing, because there's a reason why you are in diaspora. This economy has been deliberately sabotaged so as to ensure that we have no opportunity, so that you can go there on that side. So they killed our industries, they killed agriculture. Look, like when this regime just got into office, look, what did they first do? Like now, here is an article. Macadamia farmers, traders fault Moses Kuria for allowing exportation of raw nuts. The macadamia industry collapsed with one fell swoop. Because of who? Because of Moses Kuria's toxic interventions. In fact, his new and roadside declarations, which were made, in the pedestrian manner, some which were concocted in a bar, or in bars, they led to a 6-year low in manufacturing. You understand? So because you're sending a lot of money, there is a lot of forex. Now the central bank governor can stand there, bila aibu, with no shame, and he says diaspora remittances are now the key foreign exchange earners. He knows that is not anything of his doing or of the country's doing. It's not that he's created incentives, but they are basking in glory of effort of other people, other countries. This is, I tell you, boomers sometimes, man. You can reason out with these guys. And I told you why are boomers the most retarded generation? It's because when they were handed the economy by the white man, they were given for free, so they didn't have to work. Then they just enjoyed life. They enjoyed the free education, free healthcare. They enjoyed the playgrounds, the social amenities which had been left intact. They enjoyed the good roads, the park, the green spaces, the parks. But when they grew up, then we've already used these, so we don't need. So what do? Let's start grabbing them. Let's build flats. Let's build hotels. Let's build whatever other commercial enterprise or entity they want to build. because that's their nature. And then now let's look at this article. This is a weekly review. The bitter taste of coffee. Gachagua, the man behind the crisis. So they come and manufacture a crisis because we are already getting a lot of dollars with Kenyans in diaspora. Let's now tinker. Let's now play around with people's lives. And then you can see Kenya just earlier this month on 1st of November. Kenya bans avocado exports. Why? Because a bunch of bureaucrats who have been appointed or employed by some dysfunctional laws passed by your MPs. The dysfunctional laws creating parastatal after parastatal. That's because the idlers in government, what they do is they concoct these laws, they cook these laws because they know your MPs are useless. They don't read, they just rubber stamp everything that is presented to the executive. That's why you're seeing a thing like the Ministry of Tourism. The Ministry of Tourism has 13 parastatals. 13 parastatals. Where do they derive the money to even stay afloat? From the industry players. So each hotel, you can see the licensing regime. In every hotel, some places you need like over 20 licenses from NEMA, from what? From compliance. And then you go to the county, everything. You need so much bureaucratic red tape to just open a business which will create jobs. This is, I told you, the bureaucrats in Kenya. I told you the people who work in government. You know, government, the people who are employed, they are employed on the basis of quota system, based on tribal aggregation. So these people will come from here. So you get people from the rural areas, far-flung areas, who are driven by jealousy and malice. I'll give you an example. When you were in high school, you remember how students from Nairobi were profiled by the teachers, because they think of the teachers, think of the government bureaucracy is identical. So anything bad that happened, they were so quick to profile, watu wa Nairobi, watu wa town. So you can imagine now people who've grown up with such a low self-esteem mentality. They are now put in positions. You work in KRA. All you're seeing is somebody who has made a business. You become so jealous, you just want to bring them down. This is how policy has been manufactured in Kenya. Wired in such a way that you're not creating a conducive environment. You're so jealous. You're so this is the people in KRA, man. The people in all these government bureaucracies. Now they create laws. Oh, let's make a parastatal. Let's make a parastatal. How many parastatals are we going to create? Now they want to stifle the AI and robotics industry. They want to stifle the design industry. They want to stifle anything new that Kenyans can come up with. They want to stifle by creating parastatals, which will lead to more bureaucracy, making it difficult. And I told you all of this is sponsored by Muzungus and IMF and World Bank. That's why you saw IMF were in Kenya today. They were in State House earlier in the morning, and they were taken there by their number one stooge, Kamau Thuge. He's the IMF stalwart numero uno. You look now. I told you we have 13 parastatals in the tourism industry, all wired to destroy the tourism industry, because Kenyans in diaspora, you're sending money to your people. They are bragging about your foreign remittances. Now, look at this. Kenya to compel foreigners to buy local health cover. Now, you're compelling a Muzungu who is coming for a holiday to buy NHIF. NHIF, first of all, is dead. It is not being received in like 70% of the hospitals around the country. Doctors and other people who run clinics and hospitals were running scams to make fictitious claims. People who we have entrusted, people who we have educated with our money, are now going and conspiring with NHIF so that we are not expanding universal healthcare countrywide. This is the problem with our can we call them selfish people? Even the professionals themselves are not to be left behind. We are looking at lawyers, we are looking at doctors, we are looking at what? I was asking a doctor the other day, how comes during COVID you suspended the use of your brain, of your logic, of common sense, and even your own education, so as to listen to directives from Mutahi Kagwe, directives which didn't make sense from a scientific or whatever point of view? How is it? So we have professional bodies which don't serve the cause of mankind, but they serve the establishment, they serve the state. It is so unfortunate. Yeah. So the Kenyans in diaspora, It's your time now to start taking a keen interest in the civic process, in the political process. This is not the time for you to keep up with the Samidos and the Karenyamus. You understand? We have taken you to those countries for a reason. People have sacrificed even to buy those air tickets for you. Now, once you go there, it's not your duty now. You're supposed to ask, why did I end up here and I should be in my country? Now, if you go to a place like Egypt, do you think they have mass immigration like we are doing in Kenya? Do you think the president of Egypt just stands by and says, oh, I met I don't know who in Saudi Arabia and they want 100,000 Kenyans? Do you think he says anything like that? Those guys would march on the streets to say, this is not what we voted for. We voted for jobs. And I told you the hustler narrative, the hustler myth was created or was cooked to shield the political establishment of the day from the responsibility of creating actual jobs. You see, so that you, with your degree, you are glamorized that now you're selling shoes, you're going to thrift, I don't know where. You are not trained to do that. You are not trained to be doing what at catering and whatever and events. No, you are trained to be an accountant. You are trained to be a lawyer. But now everyone is just moving, and then you're basking in a narrative, in a myth, in an artificial reality created to shield the political establishment from creating opportunities for you. And we need those opportunities so that we can onboard more taxpayers, so that ideally KRA should not be obsessing about now hammering people left, right, and center, here, left, right, because they are running out of ideas. They even want to tax pig farmers. They are running out of ideas because I told you these guys are from the rural areas. They hail from far-flung regions and they are driven by malice, by jealousy. They just want niko na wivu na ule. So they will find a way of influencing policy. They'll find a way of and I've seen a notification from KRA telling people, oh, there's an amnesty. You take that amnesty at your own peril. Now they realize they blundered. They realize that tax payment is a voluntary. We pay tax because we want to. We comply because we want to. And then here you are coming with a big stick. Even people flying in the country, you're harassing them. You're removing their sex toys. How thirsty are you that you are now taking sex toys, KRA people? You're disgusting, man. You're disgusting. I don't know how you ended up in those offices, but you're disgusting. And then I don't know whether you've seen videos of Jomo Kenyatta International Airport. It's leaking. Just look at the video number 1. This is an international airport. Can you imagine? Just look. Just look at what one ear can do. And then look at number 2. Look at now. This is on the arrival side. Look at the leakages. You know, Kenyans in diaspora, we are telling you that this country is going to the dogs. You guys are still there following Samido and Karenyamu gossip issues. Look at this. You'd think Kenya is like Congo. And so let me tell you something about JKIA. JKIA has been the greatest disaster of our time, because every regime, but the more so the Uhuru Kenyatta regime, they came in within 2013. The first thing they did is to engineer a fire. They engineered a fire. I don't know why they engineered it, but you could tell even from the photos and the videos, because we were following that issue real time. You could see now they deployed police. They deployed police there instead of deploying firefighters. You can see this photo number 1 and photo number 2. They were just deploying police. I don't know, there was an issue about the duty-free payment and Kamlesh Patni, and I don't know what, they wanted to jump, and then now they wanted to fast-track a tender. They wanted to kick out somebody who had been given the tender of the Greenfield terminal. You see, in Kibaki's Vision 20 plan, there was the LAPSET, and then there was also the Jomo Kenyatta International Airport, where they were going to make a new terminal. Forget about the rubbish that was done in JKIA Terminal 1A, which is where you are seeing is leaking right now. That's a new airport. We cannot even drink in peace here. People telling us Uhuru. He has to. I was asking somebody, why must Uhuru's name always pop up when we are talking about the failings of this government, as if he's the solution, as if he was any better, as if this project, these problems did not emanate from or are just carried over because the cartels are intertwined. These are still the same people. They come to play you in the gallery. They come to play with your minds, and then you're so easily baited. You're so easily triggered. Like now, I told you 2 weeks ago, there is gaslighting Monday where they come up with a story, and now they cooked a story. They know this story will never see the light of day. They know it cannot stand a constitutional challenge in court, but they still run it anyway. And which is their platform of running it? It is Kenyans.co.ke. Like they're talking about, I don't know, imposing how much for people who are willing to travel outside the country to discourage immigration. You see, this is why would you see such a piece of news and share it or tweet it? You're supposed, when you're tweeting it, you say these directives cannot see the light of day. You're supposed to be there challenging them, not saying breaking, this is what the government. No. You're also becoming part of the establishment propaganda machinery. So we were supposed to make a greenfield terminal. The project was coming with a new runway for JKIA, which was supposed to cement our position as a hub of the region because we already have an airline. But what is happening? Ethiopia went ahead and did the same. I showed you the video of Tanzania, the Dar es Salaam International Airport. Smooth, clean. You can see that's the standard of international airports. But what happened in JKIA in Terminal 1A? Look at where they blocked cars from going. And then they always said, or they were using or hiding behind Muzungus, that now that we are getting a direct flight, even drop-offs, you're unable to be dropped off there. So even when it's raining, you have to walk so far being rained on, because these idiots who built this airport, Akina Uhuru and his brother, they are so dumb, in their thinking, in their mind. I tell you, they see you guys as peanuts. You see, Uhuru and his brother Moho have surrounded themselves with white people, with Muzungus. They see fellow Kenyans as peasants. And then they see themselves as a royal family, and you made them assume such because you are there calling them Mudamaki. You're making them. You're building these delusions of grandeur in their heads. So they were never going to go and make any effort with your projects, with your legacy projects. You see, like SGR goes maximum 100 km, 100 kilometers per hour. Because it was a single track. It was supposed to be a dual track so that the trains can go fast, but is now a single track. And they've left room for corruption. Let me show you how corruption works, spread over to from regime to regime. Like now, there was the Eastern Bypass project. It was initially built as a single way. It was not a dual carriage. It was single carriage. Why did they do that? Because they always leave. Now it was built as a single carriage by the Kibaki regime, and then now when Uhuru came in, he now built the second part, the second component. But if you look at the original plans of the bypasses, because Southern Bypass was built as a dual carriage from the get-go, but this one, they ate a whole lane. They ate a whole lane, and even now the Eastern Bypass is not fully dual carriage because they've left. For the incoming regime, the engineers and the presidents of the day, they know that in future these people need to steal, so we have to concoct projects. And then there's always World Bank and IMF, as long as we fulfill their mandate and their agenda to destroy Kenyan enterprise, to destroy Kenyan SMEs, to make it difficult to do business, to make farmers run out of business. We will still always be getting handouts in the form of loans for these grand projects. You see, it is all scripted, it is all premeditated. So when they were doing this Jomo Kenyatta International Airport Terminal 1A, it is so pathetic. If you go in it, it doesn't even feel warm like an airport. This is the problem with you people voting with your diabs instead of your heads. Don't be carried away by euphoria. Don't listen to what the media are telling you. Don't listen to what the corrupt clergy are telling you. You saw we were talking about Pauline Njoroge's tweet the other day, or post on Facebook the other day, that bishops have been meeting Uhuru and Ruto, all the time. And we were asking the question, why isn't he meeting industrialists, innovators, inventors? Why must they be meeting religious leaders? Because PR for them, brainwashing the masses, that's their priority. When they think of something, they start from what will be the PR value, and then they work backwards. It's never about what will be the significance of this project, what will be the outcome, the result, and then now that the result will speak for itself. That's not their consideration. Then they want the PR and then working backwards. That's why there's so many propagandists who've gained relevance. Even David D, in as much as he's an economist, he's not there for his economics. He's there for the fact that he has a lot of clout on Twitter and he can trend whenever he feels like, whenever he posts one of those volatile tweets of his. So it is, and then the placating towards, and don't forget, first of all, in 2018, Kenya Airports Authority invites tenders for construction of JKIA second runway. Did that project take off? Did it materialize? No, because what? Because Muzungus, first of all, they have to meddle. You see, you are the position that we are in, how we are so economically disenfranchised. This is the work of great higher forces, higher powers like the IMF. The World Bank. Those are the people who are destroying us, who are emasculating us economically, who are depriving us of opportunities, and they have the ear of the regime of the day, and they've installed puppets in different countries, because the disenfranchisement of African is a well scripted, and now they will bring you people like Mr. Beast. Because they want you to bask in the limelight of handouts, and then somebody is trying to tell you here, Julius Malema comes here, and you people are saying you prefer Mr. Beast than Julius Malema, and you can see why Rigiji reacted to Julius Malema. You think, and he didn't react to Mr. Beast. He knows very well that the people who are challenging your thought, it's the battle of your minds. The battle of your minds will be the biggest, not just in Kenya, globally. They want to control your mind. They want to shape your thinking. They want to be, because they saw how it worked during COVID. They could enforce mass compliance. You people stayed at home. Other than a few countries, in Tanzania being one of them, they rejected this global order. And did they lose anything? No. In fact, they took a quantum leap. That's why Tanzania will be overtaking, if it hasn't happened already, will be overtaking Kenya very soon. So they invited tenders for the construction of JKIA's second runway. Did it happen? No. And then, but we were told things, and then during the same period, you remember they blocked the Airport North Road, under the guise of fictitious terrorism concerns, stuff like that. These things, you only hear them in Kenya because they are always ready to placate. Because now there was a direct flight to America, and then they were told, don't be parking the cars there in front of Terminal 1A. Don't be... we want Airport North Road to be closed. It was closed. And let me tell you, other people in other countries have the opportunity to see Kenya Airways landing than Kenyans themselves. Your taxes have gone into bailing out this company. Like now here, look, Kenya Airways is, I don't know it was in which country where it was covered in snow. We will never see such images. We will never see such images of Kenya Airways in Kenya, shot by Kenyan flight watchers, because of every time they have to create, I told you, is an elitist mindset. They don't want you to be inspired to fly. Here is another one, Kenya Airways landing. I don't know where this sighting was. I don't know, the flight watchers can tell me. But it's clearly not Kenya. They can see our airline funded by our taxes, bailed out by our taxes. They can see it, but us, we can't. Yeah? Because the bureaucrats in Kenya, they do what Muzungus tell them, and they have a premeditated notion that if you were to be inspired, like now here another one is landing. If you could be inspired to fly, if you could be inspired to fly them, they will die of jealousy. I told you these guys are just jealous people. You can see it landing there. We never see it in Airport North Road was closed. The viewing bays were closed in Jomo Kenyatta International Airport. For what reason? You guys, government bureaucrats, which is why we need to downsize. We need to end some of these parastatals which are working against the interests of the people. You're working for cartels. You're working for scammers. JKIA, how comes when we have a national blackout, you don't have a generator? It's very creepy. You don't have a backup generator. And then here you are, because now they have seen that Kenyans in diaspora are sending a lot of money. Now they can ruin everything else. They can ruin our tourism industry. They can ruin our agricultural sector. They can ruin everything, our SMEs, our manufacturing. And Kenyans in diaspora have told you are the most important. We need to see you starting to mobilize, because now you're in touch. You know better than what you're doing. You're not supposed to be there keeping up with the Samidos and Karen Nyamos, that you're the ones giving them a lot of traction. You're the ones inviting them to America. When was the last time you invited somebody to give you a talk about the Kenyan political system? No, you guys are just inviting the most useless, the most pathetic of clout chasers. Kenyans in diaspora, what was the need of us raising money to send you there if you're not going to transfer that knowledge back home? If you're just going to keep on being entertained by low vibrational energy? The Kenyans in diaspora have told you are the most important. Will you rise to the occasion? Will you keep on there? Will you keep on there even when Ruto was campaigning, or even you were there, you were defending them, you were pushing their content? This guy called Cosmo Choi in America, he's a Kenyan in diaspora. He was there, he was pushing this regime. These days he's kept quiet because it's becoming difficult to defend the indefensible. So Kenyans in diaspora, you've been a big letdown. I think it's time, step up to the plate. Do what is required of you. But we see other diaspora people, like now the Palestinian diaspora. You see how they are campaigning. They are even going to Congress. They are rocking up in Congress and they are protesting. What are Kenyans doing? You're just living your best lives, following Samido and Karen Nyamo. Is horrible. This is a mess. The more we are moving, the more we are progressing, the more we are getting older. It's almost like the more we are moving, we are regressing, we are moving backwards. Is almost like reverse evolution. The Kenyans who were there 30 years ago, the first batch of immigrants, due to the bad governance of Daniel Arap Moi, you are very conscious that we have come here to create new lives, but we will go one day to help Kenya, to impact Kenya. There was a time Kenyans in diaspora were moving en masse, and they were coming to open businesses. And now government now created new laws. Your MPs created new laws, which now I'm seeing the Kenyans in diaspora who had come back now are going back to America. It's no longer the dream return. The dream return has been cut short because of what? Because of jealousy. Because you Kenyans in diaspora, you've absconded your mandate. You're not even lecturing your own family members. You're not trying to tell them that this is how even those who are in the Middle East, you're not trying to tell them that Middle East was a desert just 30 years ago. And now we are here running away to go and work there, to do menial jobs in the Middle East, while those were deserts just 30 years ago. You're not telling them that. When I see you on TikTok and the nonsense that you're doing, man, on TikTok live, man, you guys are pathetic, man.